Yes, that's fine.
Today I'm joined by Dani Moledo, who is an aspiring professional footballer playing now in a variety of countries. And Danny, I welcome you to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
No problem. And look, your career is going to be interesting. I'm sure it will be. You've already played in Holland. You've just moved to Italy. You've broken your wrist, but then you came back after your injury, fractured it again. You've been through a whole host of things, and you're only 18 years old. You're a goalkeeper. But explain to us where you come from, because you told me that you're Dutch, but your grandparents were Spanish. So talk to us about the bloodline and who you are as a person.
Yeah, well, I have Spanish roots. My grandparents have moved to Spain for, yeah, just for a better future for their kids. So, yeah, I'm born to Dutch parents, with Spanish grandparents, and just lived close to Rotterdam my whole life. Played there as well in the region, and just I describe myself as a relaxed, chill guy and social if I feel like it, but always seeing first how other people are and then adapting to that. I think
Well,
I
I hope you're
describe
feeling
myself as that.
sociable today.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's comfortable here.
Well,
Looking
I'm
forward
glad
to
to
it.
hear. I'm glad to hear. So you played grassroots then? Was that in the Netherlands or was that in Spain?
Yeah, no, in the Netherlands. I started playing football when I was 4. Always been a goalkeeper. Um, first Actually the first game I played as an outfielder. Second game the goalkeeper didn't show up and I always had gloves in my bag. So I was like, yeah, trainer, put me on. I want to play in goal, and I did pretty well. And I was just jumping around, so happy. And then trainer said, okay, you're not leaving the goal anymore. And since then, I never left. Yeah, played multiple clubs. I switched a bit due to playing with friends or trying a new level. And then when I was a year 15-ish, just after COVID, I decided like, yeah, I want to do more with football. It's really my passion. I really want to strive for more. So um, finished my team with the friends and looked for a better club. So I ended up with a team playing a few divisions higher. Played the year there, put in a lot of work, and then I got invited for an amateur academy. We basically trained 5 days a week, full time, and play matches every other week against pro clubs in the Netherlands, against other teams in Germany as well, in Belgium. So that was a great experience playing with guys older than me, more experience, like guys that have played pro or came back from injury as well. So that was great for my development. Um, and that was the year I also broke my wrist. Um, it was we had preseason. I did well. It was fine. Had some struggles with the level because the level was high, and but I adapted and making progress, working hard, and just trusting the process. And then in November of 2022, I think I broke my wrist. It was in a game. It was very cold, and just the muscles were cold, and was just after halftime, and it was a shot, and I just broke it, and immediately knew I never broke it before, but I immediately knew like this was wrong, and I went straight to the hospital, made a picture, and yeah, it was broken, and then got put in a cast, and had to wait for 3 months, which was my first ever big injury, and yeah, really enjoying the football and enjoying the hard work, enjoying the grind. It was such a hard period for me. Uh, but I think it brought me so much. Started getting into faith as well uh, back then, which helped me a lot through getting through the injuries, sitting the time at home. Um, yeah, just seeing football as a different thing, just trusting in the long term process instead of the shorter, yeah, the short term, looking for the long term, and that it doesn't have to happen within a year, but it can happen within a few years with hard work, patience, consistency. And as you said, yeah, I came back in February. It took me 3 4 months to recover from the injury. Was back on the pitch for 2 weeks, and in training we had a small-sided game, and in the same way it broke again. The same exact movement, same exact shot. It just wasn't healed enough. And first I was in denial. I was like, no, it isn't broken again, and this is just a small bruise. It's fine. Next day I went to the hospital, made a picture again, like a X-ray, and they said, yeah, it's broken again. It's the same spot, same bone. They said it's bad luck, but I think it's just wasn't healed enough. Put in a cast again, a little shorter because the break was a little smaller. And in the meanwhile, the academy in the Netherlands started to expand, and they went to Spain as well, another location, and they asked me if I want to come as well. So I said, yeah, of course. So I broke it again in February, and with them I went to Spain in May, and I was there for a month, and I was injured still, so I just trained with my feet not in goal and getting fit again. And around the start of July, I got back from the injury, fully playing again in goal, made my runs around the pitch, and since then I've been fit. Really happy with that. Played the year in Spain. Um, Great year, great. So much to learn, so much experiences. You again with different guys, different cultures, different everything, and it taught me so much. Learning more about life, learning more about other people, learning how to handle certain situations off the pitch as well, like certain conflicts with people, which just helps you on the pitch as well so much. And on the pitch, training every day, 2, 3 times a day on the pitch, adding on the gym as well, and just the development just skyrockets when you put in so much hours. Um, then at the start of this year, looking for a new club because the goal of the academy is to move to a better club. And yeah, at the end of May, I got in contact with an agent, and he told me, "Yeah, I have a club for you in Italy." And yeah, by God's grace, I could sign there. And now we started preseason today, so and I'm in Italy.
We'll talk about what's happened now, obviously with your move to Italy and Spain and everything else in between later on. But let's go back to where you were in grassroots growing up with your
Hmm.
family. You mentioned that you were always usually a goalkeeper apart from that one-off game, and that's quite a surprise because usually players like to play up front and then somehow they work their
Hmm.
way back and eventually become a goalkeeper. Do you
Hmm.
remember who your coach was? Do you remember why he told you you'd be a good goalkeeper and obviously why you liked it more than anywhere else?
Um, yeah, the trainer was just the coach was just someone's parent, and who decided to out coach this team. And I don't know, my family has some goalkeepers in the family. My grandpa was a goalkeeper. My uncle was a goalkeeper. So it's kind of in my like in the roots, like so to say. And I always just liked jumping around, an active kid. Uh, and I always said I want to be a goalkeeper. I want to be a goalkeeper. And my parents were like, "Yeah, just start off in the field and see how you like that." And I was very like absent. I wasn't like actually partaking in the playing with the ball. I was just like a dreamer. And then I always said I want to be a goalkeeper. And then the opportunity came, and then I was like, "Yeah, this is my chance. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna go for it." And I just took the chance, and I did pretty well. And that's when he said, "Yeah, you're staying. You're doing so well. You're having so much fun. We can see that. So you can stay. You can stay and go."
Obviously now you're 18. Going back 3 or 4 years ago, there's not a lot that happened that I know of in your life from grassroots until you became about 17 or 18. What
Hmm.
filled those years? Was it just constant grassroots football?
Yeah, basically, yeah, just playing with friends or just lower level grassroots. Um, and it's yeah, just always playing with friends and maybe progressing every year a bit in the level, becoming champions once or twice, and then after a few years, my friends would move to a different club, so I'd move to a different club as well. New friends, I'd go with the new friends to a new team. So just like that, and yeah, like just a basic high school kid life, somewhere between 12 and 15. And after 15, after COVID hit, I spent a lot of time inside, of course, like everyone. Spent a lot of time playing video games, and I was like, yeah, this is not what I want to do anymore. I was like sick of playing video games. I was like, I want to progress. I want to do something with my life. I want to do something with my passion, with football. And I started training more, training harder, putting in extra hours, and thanks to that, I could progress.
In the Netherlands, what's it like in terms of the education? Because in England, you can leave education legally at 16. So
Hmm.
in the Netherlands, is that the same? Can you leave at 16, 18, 21?
Um, So in Netherlands, in high school, you have different levels. It's not all the same. So you finish middle school when you're 12. You go to like it's called high school then, um, and the medium of the minimum you have to do is 4 years, and depending on the level you do, is can go up to 6 years. And I started with doing the 4 years. I finished the 4 years when I was uh, turning 16. Yeah, I was turning 16. I finished that, and I was like, I want to do an additional 2 years. I did an additional 2 years, and then I was 18. and then I finished school. I was 18, so I was allowed to stop with school. I had the minimum how you call it degree to stop, and so that's the minimum you have to do. And if you're 18 and you have the minimum degree, you can do whatever you want.
So you decided that you're now leaving education to pursue what would hopefully be a profession in football.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
So we'll talk about everything else in between when you moved to Spain. I believe no, in 2022, 23 when you started to get the call-ups for these non-pro trials, etc. But just a quick one for pre-season for semi-professional footballers, what is
Hmm.
that like? Because obviously you have gone through both, but to be a
Hmm.
semi-pro, maybe if you're looking at your teammates 27, 28, what's it like for them going into they could be a builder, they could be someone like me on a podcast, but then they've also got to do football every so often. So how does that work with pre-season training?
Uh, with the academy that we did full-time training, so everyone was just training full-time. But here in Italy, it's a semi-pro team, so that means other guys may have education still or be working. So we train at 2:30, and they be training in the morning, or often they be working in the morning and training in the afternoon. Uh, just like that, doing it part-time and training in the afternoon and working or education in the mornings.
2022-23, when you were invited for a non-pro trial at VR Sports Academy. How did that come about, and what did you learn during the time there?
Yeah, I got in contact with the coach by LinkedIn, and I was like, "Yeah, I want more in football. I've seen you doing stuff in the football world with playing certain teams, certain tournaments, certain bringing players to certain clubs." I was like, "Yeah, can I sign up?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure, come over." And I signed up for the Sunday trainings, which is just for people who want to train. And then he was like, I impressed them by my working hard, certain talent, and they were like, "Yeah, come over to the academy, train with us. We'll see if you like it. We'll see if you're good enough." I did it one or two trainings there at the academy, and they were like, "Yeah, sure, you come over, stay for the year, and we'll work towards getting a club."
And you got the club, didn't you? Velena FC in Spain.
Yes, that was like I said, the academy expanded. They went to Spain they went to Spain, and they worked in a partnership with Vienna Club Football, and so we played under Vienna for competition, senior football with the A team and the B team, and then during the week we'd play pro games against pro teams, under 21s, and first team pro teams, and just again a great experience to expose ourselves as Dutch players in Spain, like see how the Dutch football is, show new kinds of players because obviously Spanish football is really technical, but Dutch football is more physical, but also more straightforward, going straight for goal, being effective as possible. And I think we did a great job at showing how Dutch football is, and a lot of guys made a new step to a pro club.
Yeah, obviously you mentioned grassroots football there. So to join a club, you can be from the age of 5, and you participate in small-sided games, and then players are put into categories with progression-based um, squads, depending on birth years, but it's also quite a slow paced advancement. So from the age of about 10, you can then go 7 aside, and then 15 or 16 or 14, maybe, you can go to 11 aside. So it's a really slow progression. And in your eyes, does that sum up what Dutch football is about? It needs to be slow, it needs to be simple, and it needs to just be basic.
Yeah, like you said, it's that you just progress pretty slowly. You play a few years in the smaller goals, 7 aside, and then when you turn 13, 14, you play on the bigger pitch with the bigger goals. I think it's decent. I just think that players should play longer on the smaller goals. Like they play with a goalkeeper too early, in my opinion. I think they should play with a uh, the goalkeeper should learn to play with their feet more because I played really soon as a goalkeeper, and maybe it would have been better if I played longer with my feet. And I'm pretty good with the feet, but I think I'd be even further if I'd play more time with the feet. But the change is coming now, and the Dutch Federation is trying to implement that. And regarding the progression, if the player is good enough, they get put to a higher team. Like let's say they're under 10s, but they're good enough to play with under 12s, they get put with under 12s. I think that's great. Just playing with older players, I think they do well in that. playing with older players, you just learn to be more technical, less physical because you're gonna get put off the ball, and that's just a lot of progression there.
So let's talk about the move to Italy then, because obviously your career is still quite raw, only 18 years of age. So there's not a heap to talk
19
about.
to correct you there.
19,
It's
19.
90,
I
90.
was trying to work it out, but my maths isn't great. So there we go.
It's fine.
So
It's fine. It's
obviously
fine.
you're now in Italy. So what was the main reason that you wanted to move to Italy? Because obviously the club will have limited resources being in the sixth tier. So
hmm
what really made you want to move over to Italy? What is the club offering you?
Um, yeah, just a chance of playing minutes. Obviously, it's not never guaranteed. But me knowing my qualities and I know I have a good chance if I work hard to get my minutes. And I just think as a young goalkeeper, it's so important to make minutes and to experience the senior game because that's where you're gonna end up. You're gonna end up playing against full grown men. They have kids. They have bills to pay. So that's the environment you want to be in. And I think being as early as possible in that environment, learning to deal with the pressure with the fans. Um, and I just yeah got the offer of they said we need a young goalkeeper. We'd like you to play with us. And I was like, yeah, sure. I want to fight for my spot. I'm willing to work hard. I enjoy living in another country, learning a new language, being by myself. I love that. So I thought, yeah, let's go. Um, yeah, that's why I moved there. It's just experience senior football.
So when the season's over, is the contract? There's not really contracts, is there, in semi-professional football in Italy? Is there?
Yeah, I signed a contract for a year.
So
It's
when the
a
year's
year contract.
when the year's over, what's the plan then? I mean, obviously, it's hard to look into the future because obviously game times
Mhm.
and things like that do play a big part. But would you rather stay in Italy, or is there an idea to move to a slower league like Germany or France?
Um, I'm just gonna see where everything will take me. For me, it's all God's plan. So my goal here is to just become champions. That's the goal of the club. The main goal is to become champions this year. Last year they missed promotion in the semi finals and they missed the championship on 2 points. So their main goal is to promote. There's no other option. They have to. So if we promote, we go to the fifth level of Italy, which already gets closer to the Serie D, which I think is counted as professional league. And if I play all my minutes, I think everything is possible. And just trying to climb the ranks. And if that's in Italy, it's in Italy. If I can go back to Spain, I'll go back to Spain. Germany, new adventure, also great. So I'm just gonna see where it takes me. But the first goal is for sure becoming a champions here.
Culture change. What was that like moving from? I mean, obviously you've gone from Spain, Holland, and now into Italy. So what's that like then to adapt to another culture? To, as you said, you like to learn another language. So did you find it quite easy to adapt?
Uh, yeah, well, Dutch culture is very fast. Everything is fast. Everyone is living the fast life. Work, home, be a bit with family, then next day work again. But in Spain, it's all more relaxed and laid back, more about enjoying life, which really suited me a lot. And also the siestas, sleeping during the afternoon, suited me great, and I love that so much. So here in Italy, it's also more laid back. I've been here for only 2 weeks now, but what I've seen, the people are so nice. They're so welcoming. Got invited uh, for a drink multiple times by people from the club, so I feel so welcome. So a great warm environment, and I love it.
Let's move on to some quick fire questions then. So, firstly, would you rather in your ultimate team have Allison or Edison?
Edison,
And why would that be?
better with the feet, uh, and quicker out of his goal to play the behind the line.
Obviously, growing up in the Netherlands, you've had a good few teams, but obviously Ajax would probably be the top one in the Netherlands. But overall, around the world, who would be your favourite team?
Favorite team. They're not doing great at the moment, but I can't say. I have to stay with Barcelona. It's my favorite team, always been.
Well,
I
didn't
can't
they
switch.
beat didn't they beat Real Madrid yesterday?
Yeah, they did actually, but they haven't won the league in a bit. So last year there wasn't a great season either.
Obviously, you're a goalkeeper. So, would an idol of yours be a goalkeeper, or would there be an outfielder? And if so, who?
It's a goalkeeper. I'd say it's between Neuer and Casillas, for Casillas being a smaller goalkeeper as well, and Neuer for making the big, yeah, being the first to introduce a new style of goalkeeping. So either of those two, but I think I'd go for Neuer.
The very same thing that professional footballers have and semi-professional players have is you need to have a strict diet. But what would be your cheat meal after a game, after you've won? What would it be?
Oof, good question. Um, I love food. Good food. You can wake me up in the middle of the night for good food. That's a hard question. You could, yeah, a pizza, a good pizza. Here in Italy, the pizzas are amazing. You could, yeah, after a game, a good pizza with a Coke, perfect.
What would be your best advice then? Because obviously you are still a young goalkeeper, so I'm sure you've received a lot in the recent years. There's obviously a lot of goalkeepers that will be watching this and looking for advice from someone who's a very similar age. So what advice would you give to them?
If they want to progress to the pro game, I just say to them, work hard. That's the most important part. Work hard but smart. Know what you're doing. Know what you need to work on. Let's say if you're, uh, I'm worse with the feet, then train on with the feet. Go to a wall, kick the ball to the wall and receive it. Do the proper work and eat well, sleep well, train well, and be patient. Don't expect things to happen within a year, 2 years, 3 years. Take the long-term plan. You don't have to be a pro at 22 or 21. You could be a pro 24, 25 if that's how it works out for you. Never stop believing in yourself and have the patience, and it will all be fine. Just never give up.
That's a really good bit of advice. Now, pre-match ritual, what would that be? Because some goalkeepers like to put on their left glove before the right glove. You like
Mhm.
maybe what would you like to do to get yourself into a game situation?
Um, I'm not really a ritual type of guy. I just takes what feels right. So I just go to the game, put on my headphones, listen to a bit of music, be social with the guys on the bus in the dressing room, and just be relaxed. That's yeah, not that a ritual, but just relax. Take it all relaxed, go with the flow, and see what happens.
For a goalkeeper, it must be quite repetitive at times to be doing the same drills and training. But what out of those repetitive drills do you like the most? What one feels less like work and more like a hobby?
To be honest, every time stepping on the pitch, training feels like I'm so happy because it's getting paid for doing what you love most. So it never feels like work. The only thing that actually feels like work is the running and training. That's the only thing that makes me feel like work. The rest is all happy, passion. The only thing I don't like is running.
Best memory.
Ah, best memory. Mm, I have one. So in the Netherlands, when I played we played a cup game, um, and it was a crazy game, very hostile. So I played the game, and we ended up playing a draw, 1-1, 2-2, or whatever, and it went to penalties. Then I got subbed off for the goalkeeper on the bench to make just a shocking effect. Then we played the penalties, and the last penalty he saved was ruled out for whatever reason. So the team was very, um, yeah, like, why is it ruled off? What's the thing? Then the referee felt like, yeah, we're not continuing this anymore. We're gonna continue this another day. It's too hostile. Then the other goalkeeper got injured, so I had to step in again 2 weeks later for the penalties. So we drove an hour and a half just for two penalties. We didn't even do a warm up. I stepped on the pitch. They scored their first penalty. The penalty was initially saved. Then we scored our penalty, and then the third penalty I saved. And it was so crazy. They had a bunch of fans watching because it was like the hostile environment. It was like a big thing, and the team jumped on me. We were so happy, which made us progress. That's definitely definitely the best moment.
And last but not least, what is the best Dutch meal that anyone could have if they were to visit the Netherlands?
I have to be honest. Dutch cuisine is you have to like it. It's not the it's very bland, to be honest. But something I have to say a frikandel. It's a snack. It's something you put in the fryer. Uh, you do that with you put in a what you call it like a piece of bread, and it's just a meat stick basically, and you do that with mayonnaise. If you're in the Netherlands, you have to try it.
It sounds like a kebab to me.
Yeah, it's kinda, but it's not really.
Okay. And now, lastly, we're going to build you a FIFA card. However, we're going to base it off the division that you're in. So, if you understand what that
Hmm.
means. So, The
Yeah.
maximum, so let's say the best player in the division is 99 rated. So, of course, we're going to
Yeah.
base it on FIFA
Okay.
cards here.
Yeah.
So, your FIFA card rating, what would your diving be in the game?
I'd say 80.
And why would that be?
It's not the best part of my game, but it's definitely not the worst.
Handling as a goalkeeper, that should be quite important.
Yeah, I'd say I'd go up to 90. Pretty safe hands, but not perfect. Just sometimes you get let it loose and give away rebound, and then you get another opportunity to make a save.
You mentioned that you're very good with your feet, so kicking should also be up there quite high, right?
Yeah, I'd say 96 up there.
Reflexes for a goalkeeper of your size, it needs
Oh,
to be very, very
yeah,
crucial.
for
Right?
sure. For sure. Yeah, I'd say up there as well. 98, 97. Just quick reflexes are very important.
Speed, is that the most crucial thing? Probably not.
No, on the first meters you have to be quick, like within the 18-yard box, you have to be quick there. So I'd say 85.
And last but not least, arguably the most important one would be positioning. What would that be for your
Oh,
FIFA card?
I'd say 90. It's good.
And that rounds up your FIFA card rating. So, lastly, Dani, what would be your ideal club looking into the future, 10 years, maybe when you're that professional
hmm
player that you've always dreamed of being? Where would you
hmm
like to be?
Probably in Spain or Italy where the weather's better. I don't like the rainy or cold weather. So my ideal club would, I said Barcelona is my favorite club. So I say Barcelona for sure. It's my favorite club. And yeah,
Dani, thank you
environment's
very
good.
much. Dani, thank you very much for
Thank
joining
you.
me today. It's been a pleasure. The 19-year-old goalkeeper who's half Dutch, half Spanish. We spoke